DJI Osmo Pocket 3 versus the Sony ZV-1. Both of these are small compact cameras aimed at the creator community for shooting media on the go. The Sony ZV-1 is currently Sony's best-selling compact camera, and that's because if you want something small that can capture better image quality than your smartphone, but you don't want the bulk that comes with carrying a larger camera and multiple lenses, the Sony ZV-1 with its 1-inch camera sensor is a proven, reliable partner for delivering beautiful, near full-frame-like quality images without the bulk. If you recall, Sony used to call this camera the RX100, which is a camera that's been out since 2012, and that's almost 11 years that Sony has been building this camera. So it must mean that they know what they're doing to be able to keep selling this camera for this long. Now, DJI is a relatively new mob in the compact camera market. They previously made their names in producing some of the best camera drones out there, and we've covered some of them in our channel. So feel free to check them out in the video description below. Now, they've adapted that technology that keeps their camera stabilized while in the air to give us this. This is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. It too has a 1-inch camera sensor, like the Sony, but its sensor is mounted on top of a pocket-sized gimbal, which means it's probably going to give you the same beautiful, near full-frame-like quality images like the Sony ZV-1. But will it? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So, let's dive into it. Now, when it comes to image quality, the images from a full-frame camera is going to be far superior than that of a smartphone camera. And that's because a larger sensor is able to draw and capture more light, and hence in theory produces a better quality image. However, it's not always convenient to lug around a huge full-frame camera complete with all its accessories when you're shooting on the go. And hence, as smaller content creators, we have leaned quite heavily on our smartphones. And when we need an extra support camera that is small and inconspicuous, that shoots in log, that comes with a good image quality, we've often just chucked the ZV-1 into our camera bags. It's reliable, it's a workhorse, and we've been using the ZV-1 as our B camera for a very long time. Now, this is the Osmo Pocket 1, and this being the first pocket-sized gimbal camera that DJI had created, I was immediately attracted by it. Purely because up to this point in time, which is 2018, to produce a properly stabilized video meant that you needed to carry a very large, very heavy gimbal, which is not quite really suited for people that shoot on the run. And when we saw that DJI had shrunken the traditional gimbal into something that fits into our pockets, we thought to ourselves, hey man, this is going to be a great camera for us, as we no longer have to throw away unusable, shaky camera work. However, this being a first-generation product, it came with a bunch of first-generation problems. First of all, look at this screen here. You're supposed to be able to see out from it, and it's also a touch screen. But look at how tiny it is. Which is why, to actually use the Osmo Pocket 1, you have had to pair it with your phone, and only with the screen on your phone could you then see and operate the camera effectively. Which obviously defeats the purpose of being able to pull out this camera at a moment's notice and shoot media on the go. Next was that it had no mounting options. What? Unless you get some third-party accessories. Because this thing doesn't come with a 1/4-inch thread.
You suck!
And on top of that, the camera sensor on the first generation Osmo Pocket just wasn't up to scratch. And that's because the camera sensor on the Osmo Pocket 1 was a teeny tiny one. It was no larger than the iPhone 7 at the time. It really struggles during low light conditions, and the images can get very grainy. But that's all about to change with the Osmo Pocket 3. Which now comes with a larger built-in display that swivels to turn on the camera, and with this, you can finally see what you're framing. There's a 1/4-inch thread attachment now, which means you can mount the Osmo Pocket 3 like any other regular camera. Just screw it onto any tripod, suction cups and mounts. And that's it. And lastly, the Osmo Pocket 3 now comes with a larger camera sensor, one that is large enough to rival the Sony ZV-1. Now, we've been testing these two cameras for a few months now, and we can happily conclude that whichever one of these cameras you choose to take home, both of them are going to be delivering you great quality images with beautiful pictures, great depth of field, and they'll even do a good job during low light conditions. They both come with fast autofocus with face detection, which will allow you to present confidently while in front of the camera without worrying if you're in focus. And if indeed you do need to check if you're in focus, they both provide you a flipped out screen that will let you do just that. Now, on the Osmo Pocket 3, it's actually the camera that flips around. But that's essentially the same thing, and that's where most of the similarity ends. You see, the Sony ZV-1 comes from a long line of point-and-shoot cameras, and just like its predecessor, the RX100, it was designed for photography rather than videos. And as a result, you get features like variable aperture, variable focal length, and it'll even let you take a 20 megapixel photo. Now, the Osmo Pocket 3 is the complete opposite. It too can take photos, but it produces a 9.4 megapixel image, which is a weird number for sure, and that means that it will take a photo that has a lower resolution than your typical smartphone, which isn't great for large prints, but it's good enough for posting on social media.
I get the camera, I take the photo, I edit the picture, and I post it to Instagram, and then I cry because no one sees it.
You don't get variable aperture and variable focal length on the Osmo Pocket 3, but you do get this ultra-wide angle attachment, which will increase the field of view when you attach it to the Osmo Pocket 3. This is with it off, this is with it on. And I personally think that it's particularly useful if you have short arms and if you're struggling to get more of your background into your shots, or if you're filming in a very tight space. But I don't think having this counts as having variable focal length. The Osmo Pocket 3's main strength is in capturing videos because it offers features like shooting videos at a higher frame rate from 4K 30 to 4K 60 and all the way up to 120 frames, which is totally ridiculous for a tiny device like this. I really love having the ability to slow down a 4K shot without losing resolution. And when it comes to color, the Osmo Pocket 3 lets you shoot log in 10-bit color, which lets you preserve even more dynamic range when compared to the Sony ZV-1's as log 3, which can only shoot up to 8-bit color. Now, it's interesting to note that all these features are usually reserved for higher-end Sony cameras, but DJI has broken away from the pack and they have brought it out to something that costs only $520. However, its real main feature is with its gimbal, which is meant to help you produce the best buttery smooth video stabilization you've ever seen on a compact camera. And we're about to show you how good it compares to the ZV-1. Sony ZV-1 versus the Osmo Pocket 3. Stabilization test.
Always forget to press the record button. Rolling! All camera rolling. How good is the video stabilization? Well, I'm too tired to find out. Back to the studio.
I think the ZV-1 with only software stabilization really had no chance in this comparison. And that means if you're in the market for a good pocket-sized video camera with great stabilization, you'll have to go for the Osmo Pocket 3. Now, DJI has also added some intelligence into the gimbal, and that is when you tap on the screen, you're able to track any subject that you tap on. And this means that when you start moving around with the Osmo Pocket 3, the gimbal will continue to keep the camera pointed at the subject that you are tracking, which is basically like having a camera assistant that helps you make sure that your subject is always in the center of your shots. It's a very cool feature for creating orbiting shots, and it also becomes very handy when you're filming alone, because you can now use the active track feature to track yourself in front of the camera, which means you no longer have to worry about not being in frame. Now, my favorite feature on the Osmo Pocket 3 is the motion time-lapse. And that's because unlike regular time-lapses that don't move, boring, motion time-lapses do, which gives you this sense of excitement. And again, it's all to do with having this gimbal. Shooting these kind of time-lapses are just simply effortless on the Osmo Pocket 3. All you have to do is just select the motion that you want, how long you want to record for, and just hit that record button. And it even has enough battery life to get you through golden hour, blue hour, and twilight.
Now this is a good audio test on the Sony ZV-1 and the Pocket Osmo 3. We are on a cruise in Shanghai. Testing 1, 2, 3. What does it sound there on the Sony ZV-1? Testing 1, 2, 3 on the Pocket Osmo 3. There's a bit of a wind going on, and there's a bit of a noise at the background there. There's a boat somewhere out there too. Let us know what you think of the audio quality on these two cameras.
Now, what good is any video without good audio? And it's fair enough to say both these cameras provide decent quality audio with their built-in microphones. And they both also provide external microphones. The Sony ZV-1 lets you connect any non-Sony microphone via the 3.5mm microphone jack. And on the Pocket Osmo 3, well, it has no such thing. But if you have a USB-C to a 3.5mm jack converter lying around at home, you can plug that into the Osmo Pocket 3 via here, and you can virtually connect it to any external microphone. Now, if you have the DJI Mic 1, just plug the receiver directly into the USB-C connector and bingo, that works as well. Or alternatively, you can use this, which is DJI's latest microphone called the DJI Mic 2, and it comes as part of the Pocket 3's Creator Combo. And with this mic, it connects automatically to the Osmo Pocket 3 wirelessly via Bluetooth, and it even works as a shutter when you're too far away to operate the camera, which is really handy when you're filming alone. Now, as a content creator who is often filming alone, you're quite often your own presenter, your own sound recordist, your own camera operator, and if you film on the go like we do, you prefer a smaller, portable camera that's ready to be deployed at a moment's notice. And both these cameras are quick to boot and they're ready to start recording at a flip of the screen. They are both perfect for the run and gun. But if you're worried about shaky footage, the Osmo Pocket 3 will be the better camera in this scenario. And when it comes to battery life, DJI again is about to outclass the ZV-1 because on paper, the ZV-1 is rated to shoot 4K at 30 frames up to 40 minutes. In our real life test, it's only lasted 33. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 was able to shoot at a higher frame rate and it lasted 3 times longer. Now, when it comes to user interface and how easy it is for anyone that's not familiar with camera lingo to pick up any one of these cameras, I think the menu system on the Osmo Pocket 3 is a lot more simple and easier to figure out. And then when it's time to take the videos out from your camera into your smartphone, the DJI's app does a much better job with less steps, less frustration, and you don't even need a computer science degree to figure things out. So, DJI Osmo Pocket 3 versus the Sony ZV-1. Which one of these cameras should you get? The Osmo Pocket 3 retails for $520. And for an extra $150, you can get it with the Creators Combo, which comes with an extra battery, which will give you even more battery life, a mini tripod, and a wireless mic. The Sony ZV-1 Mark II, which is the older brother of this camera here, retails for $900. Sony makes a fixed lens version of this camera called the ZV-1F, and that one retails for $500. And if we were comparing the ZV-1F against the Pocket 3, the Pocket 3 still offers a lot more value, as you probably still need to pay for a camera grip, because on the DJI, the grip is built into the camera. Now, in terms of video quality, you really can't go wrong with either one of these cameras. The 1-inch sensor is a workhorse, and it will deliver great results shy of carrying a full-frame camera. If you shoot primarily in photos and you need a good compact camera, get the ZV-1 Mark II, or even better, get the RX100 Mark VII. I can't believe they still sell those. But you'll definitely be happier with the Sony than you would be with the DJI if you're doing photos. However, if you shoot mainly videos, the Osmo Pocket 3 is undeniably the better overall video camera. It has better recording options, better battery life, better video stabilization, and more tricks up its sleeves than David Blaine. And it's a lot easier to use. And it's certainly, in our books, the king of compact cameras. Thank you for watching our camera comparison. We hope you've enjoyed our show. If you have, please don't forget to click on that like button, and please do subscribe, as it can help a small channel like ours get discovered. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.